Also, the pressure to make sure I was here. At my desk.
What's that? Continuances? Yeah, I think so, yeah. So.
Withdrawal. All right, everybody, we're gonna ask you to quiet while we're testing, we're out recording now.
Ready to,
If you're talking a lot, we're not here. We're taking continuances and withdrawals right now, and then we're gonna call space. Yeah, which one are you?
1, 5, Western.
Okay, those are gonna be. All right, then you can wait out there. Yeah, we'll call you in that case.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Rand, are we good to start? Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 19, 2024 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Brian Sanchez and I'm chairman of the ZBA. With me today are Commissioners Zurich Esposito to my left and Angela Brooks to my right. I'd like to call this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. I will take a roll call vote to establish quorum. Commissioner Brooks.
Present.
Commissioner Esposito.
Present.
I am present. Quorum is established. The minutes of March's meeting have been distributed. Unless there are corrections, I move that we approve the minutes as distributed. Commissioner Esposito seconds. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the minutes are approved. I move that we approve today's agenda. Commissioner Esposito seconds. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the agenda is approved. Now we will take continuances and withdrawals. Counselor?
Again, Nick Fatikas for the record, FTIKAS from Jim Banks's office. Chairman, first case of the regular call, 129-24A. We are seeking continuance. We did advise the law department of our intent to request a continuance. We would like a full board to present the appeal to. We are also continuing to do our research. And we've been working with the law department on some of those items. So we'll take whatever date you give us, and then just be mindful, please, that we also have the special use, which is a separate application pending, and I believe that's up next month. So continuance of 2 months today for this appeal will likely force continuance of the special use. So I just want that on the record.
Sure. Okay, so this is calendar number 129. 24A will be continued to June 21.
Chairman, We have to be.
It's gonna have to be May?
Zoning administrator not available.
Oh, okay. All right, so calendar number 12924A will be continued to May 17, 2024, the 9 a.m. call, and no further notice will be given.
Thank you.
Counselor?
Yep, good morning, Freddie Custin. I have case number 13524Z, page 2. Applicants Timothy Freeze. The applicant's out of the country right now, so he's unable to appear. I am seeking a continuance. Is it possible we can seek a July date?
Okay. This is calendar number 13524Z will be continued to July 19, 2024, the 2 p.m. call, and no further notice will be given.
Thank you.
Any other continuances or withdrawals, Counselor?
Thank you. My name for the record is Thomas S. Moore, and page 4, case number 14524Z. Kilgore is the applicant, 4401 South Berkeley. We have a neighbor who doesn't understand, and we've been trying to meet with her, but it hasn't worked out, so we'd ask for whatever date is convenient with you.
All right, this is calendar number 14524Z will be continued to June 21, 2024, the 2 p.m. call, and no further notice will be given.
Thank you very much.
Counselor?
Hi, my name is Warren Silver. I'm the attorney for the applicant in 16024S, the last item on the morning call, the regular agenda, on page 7. Our applicant received a bunch of questions and requested revisions and clarifications on the plans from the Department of Planning and Development staff relative to their obligation to make recommendations on the special use. We received these on April 1st, so it was short time, and despite best efforts, it looks like our client's architect won't be ready with revised plans until sometime next week. Our client has requested a short continuance, and in light of that, we wish we had had more notice of their questions and requested revisions, but so if it's possible, to continue it to the May meeting. That would be great. I would have to go through that with the applications.
Okay. All right, so calendar number 16024S be continued to June 21, 2024, the 2 p.m. call, and no further notice will be given.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other continuances or withdrawals? All right, well, seeing none, okay, so let's call the first case.
First case is 13323S, 2443 West 71st Street.
Counselor?
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicholas Fatikas on behalf of the applicant PG6 Incorporated and Ms. Gladys Holyfield. I did advise staff that Ms. Holyfield's brother passed away. She's finishing services in Michigan. This is just an extension request, so I'd like to be able to proceed. I just want to make sure that was also clear for the record.
Yeah, for that reason, we will allow it to proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. So in this case involves a special use for the establishment of a tavern. The special use was granted and the applicant was actually chosen as part of a city grant program. Unfortunately, the time it took to work through or complete the grant application process delayed permitting, and actually our permitting relies on that grant. So we're asking for a 1-year extension with the intent or hope that we'll be operational in a calendar year. I would also point out that we did file this a little bit early in the process because of our coordination on the grant. The approval date is June 20th, 23. We would ask for a June 24 date, just so we don't lose those 2 months, but it's just kind of a best effort with the grant process. Nothing about the program's changed. It's at a point where we're submitting for permit. Once the permits are submitted for, the licensing application can begin. So everything's moving forward. It's just a matter of the time to complete the grant process.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
First case, 13024Z, 1020 North Springfield.
For the record, Monty Beltran, appearing on behalf of.
Okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
May I interrupt for what she says, interpreter?
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me first swear in the interpreter.
Oh, yes.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Violeta Perez. My address?
Yes,
6109 West Havens Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60630.
okay. Is the language that you'll be translating Spanish to English?
Spanish.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm to accurately and truthfully translate English to Spanish and Spanish to English in this proceeding?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the applicant. Sir, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Leonardo Morocho. Is 20 North Springfield, Chicago, Illinois, 6051.
His name is Leonardo Morocho. It's Leonardo Morocho, Morocho. His address is 1020 North Springfield Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. 60651.
And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Counselor?
Judge, this is an application for a variance for an open conflict.
Mhm. And when who created who built the carport?
Yep.
Okay, did you know that you needed to pull permits to build a carport like that?
No, no.
When did you build it?
Um,
He doesn't remember the month, 2022.
Did you hire a contractor to build it?
no.
He just built it himself.
Are you a contractor?
No, he's not a licensed.
What is your, are you employed
Yeah.
Yes.
with, who's your employer?
And the seven.
In a restaurant.
What do you do for the restaurant?
Oh, I wanted a. Bartender.
He's a bartender assistant.
Any, questions from the board?
This is Commissioner Esposito. I'm just curious, what compelled you to appear here today? Did you get notice from the city? Or a complaint from a neighbor?
Yes, okay.
que yo estaba chequeando en el historial de la casa y me apareció la violación. Pues no sabía por qué estaba y cuando hay ustedes.
He ended up searching his property online and found the listed violation, and then he contacted an expedited company to help obtain plans and permits for the violation. And then they got the letter for the variance adjustment.
Have you had any complaints from your neighbors about the carport?
No, nadie me había dicho nada. Todos estaban contentos porque estaba cambiando todo nuevo y pues nunca nadie me ha dicho nada.
None of his neighbors said ever mentioned anything to him. In fact, they were happy that he was cleaning up that area and making it look newer.
Do any of the other neighbors have similar structures?
Cualquier de los vecinos tienen tipos carportes.
Sí, hay como 2, 3 casas que están en la línea. Por eso yo pensé que quería hacer lo mismo, como una protección para mí.
So there are about 2 or 3 other houses on that block with a similar structure, and he wanted to build it to protect his yard, his property.
How much did it cost you to build the carport?
Aproximadamente de $25,000.
About $35,000.
Any other questions from the board?
So can you repeat that $35,000?
Yes, sir.
So I want to say something before we take this under advisement. You need to know that you cannot do construction like this in the city of Chicago without pulling permits. Please translate that.
Que no puede ser este tipo de construcción si se requieren esos antes de empezar el trabajo.
This is major construction. It requires permitting to be done. And the failure to pull those permits can be very problematic.
Esto puede ser problemático por los
Okay, with that, we will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Next case, 13124S, 4241 West 63rd Street.
Thank you.
Right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you. Are you translating?
No, she doesn't speak English. I'm her husband. She is the applicant.
Are you going to be translating?
I can translate them.
Okay, all right. So sir, can you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Salvador Jacobo, address 6137 West 63rd Street, Chicago, Illinois 60638.
Is the language that you'll be translating English to Spanish, Spanish to English?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm to accurately and truthfully translate English to Spanish and Spanish to English in this proceeding?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Ma'am, could you state your name and address for the record?
Reina Cecilia Rivera. 4241 63rd Street, Chicago, Illinois. Sí. 60638.
Is the address that she needs to announce, our address with not, I don't have to say.
137 63 Chicago, Illinois, 60638.
Chicago, it's Reina Cecilia Rivera, dirección, address 6137 West 63rd Street, Chicago, 60638.
Thank you. And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. All right, I will go ahead, Counselor, you're representing the applicant in this one as well? Okay, I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 13124S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed nail salon. The department finds that this proposal complies with all applicable standards of the zoning ordinance, is in the interest of the public convenience, and will not.
They need to have, say, they need an expert.
Okay, if they're gonna be represented by counsel, they would need an expert witness to appear today.
And if there's no attorney, can they represent themselves?
Yes, they can.
Okay. We remove it from an attorney then?
Yes. Yes. Why-
More simple.
Yeah. Yes,
Sorry,
it's a simpler one. And then with that, we'll have someone from the Department of Planning and Development read the recommendation. Could you state your name and roll for the record, please?
Thank you.
Yes, good morning. My name is Jo Mary Peña, city planner for the Department of Planning and Development.
And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please read the recommendation.
The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed nail salon. The department finds that this proposal complies with all applicable standards of the zoning ordinance, is in the interest of the public convenience, and will not have a significant adverse impact on the general welfare of the neighborhood. The department also finds the nail salon will be compatible with the character of the surrounding area in terms of building scale and design and operating characteristics. Lastly, the proposed nail salon is designed to promote pedestrian safety and comfort.
Okay, so you're looking to open up a nail salon, correct?
That's correct.
And can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the nail salon business?
Like, you mean like if, what is the proceed to do the work?
No, like, your background in this business. How long have you been in the nail salon business?
Yo tengo 2 años haciendo.
She's been a nail technician for 2 years.
Okay. And do you have any license related to the nail tech?
Sí.
Okay. And what is that license?
Es para la velocidad, para un técnico.
It's just a specialized condition in nails, just manicure and pedicure, nothing else.
Okay. And are you intending to have any employees at this nail salon?
Also, the nails.
Sí.
Yes.
How many?
One,
7.
7.
And will all of those employees also be doing nails?
Y todos los empleados van a estar haciendo. Yes, they do.
And will you ensure that all of those employees are also properly licensed?
¿Te vas a asegurar de que todos los empleados tengan licencia?
Sí.
Yes, I do.
What are the hours that you intend on keeping for the salon?
¿Qué horas planeas ahorita?
De 10 a 7.
10 to 7, Monday to Friday, below Saturday.
9 a 6.
Saturday 9 to 6, Sunday, sábado, domingo,
De 9 a 3.
Sunday 9 to 3 p.m.
Any questions from the board? We will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next case, 13224F. Can I just say something? Sure. This was approved already last year. We went to this already. This was approved, but our lawyer did a mistake. He applied under my name for instead of the business name. So we have to reapply. We finished this project since October and we hope to be able
to what we get, it's just wanted to add that.
Sure.
Like, considering that it was approved already.
Sure. Understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Next case, 13224S, 1925 North Milwaukee.
All right, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah. Sorry, is that my home address or the address I'm applying for?
Either is fine.
Okay. Claire Glover, and the address is 1925 North Milwaukee Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60647.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Can we have the department, read the recommendation?
The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed hair salon. The department finds that this proposal complies with all applicable standards of the zoning ordinance, is in the interest of the public convenience, and will not have a significant adverse impact on the general welfare of the neighborhood. The department also finds the hair salon will be compatible with the character of the surrounding area in terms of building scale and design and operating characteristics. Lastly, the proposed hair salon is designed to promote pedestrian safety and comfort.
All right, so you're here to open up a hair salon, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about your background in the hair salon business?
I've been doing hair here in Chicago for the last 6 years. I've been licensed since 2015. Yeah,
Is that-
2015.
Cosmetologist?
Cosmetology, yes.
Okay. And are you intending to have any employees at your salon?
Yes, I intend to have 3 other licensed cosmetologists to do hair and then eventually 1 non-licensed for the front desk.
Okay. And what are the hours you intend on keeping?
The hours Sunday, Monday, I'm closed. Tuesday, 8 to 6 p.m., Wednesday, 8 to 5 p.m., Thursday, Friday, 11 to 8 p.m., and then Saturday, 8 to 4 p.m.
Is this going to be your the first salon that you've opened yourself?
Yes,
Are you currently working at another salon?
I was in a salon suite before, so now I'm just moving over.
Understood. Any questions from the board?
No.
We will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, 13324Z, 3720 West Concord Place.
Good morning.
Morning. Hey, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, sorry, good morning. My name is Natalia Henry and I'm the applicant for 3720 West Concord Place, Chicago, Illinois, 60647.
And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes,
Thank you very much. All right, so what brings you here today?
I am here appealing for variance relief. I applied for a construction permit to do interior work on my home. The only exterior portion is to replace the deck, same size, structure, location, because some of the boards are rotting for safety. But when I applied for the construction permit, it got denied for zoning compliance issues, which I wasn't aware of. I purchased the property in 2005, had a real estate attorney. The seller actually produced a certificate of zoning compliance. So all seemed to be in order. So not until I'm now 20 years later, almost, applying to do some improvements on my home, which are 99% interior, then this matter comes up. So I'm humbly asking for a variance to reduce the west side setback from 2 feet to 0 for a total setback of 8.49 feet for the 1-story extension, which is in existence along with the open rear deck.
Right, that deck was in existence when you bought the property.
Yes, and I submitted an exhibit showing the plat of survey from 2005.
Yeah,
That it was there. So the only other option for me would be to rip the structures down for it to come into strict compliance, which would triple my budget. I'm trying to do this without a back loan.
sure. Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I don't know if you received my architect's affidavit as exhibit B that came in later. So I have copies here if you don't have that. with you.
We'll take it just to make sure that we've got it.
Thank you. Yeah, he couldn't be here today. And it came in later than when I submitted my proposed findings of fact.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So thank you. Appreciate it.
Next case, 13424Z, 5924 West Chicago Avenue.
Okay, 5924, West Chicago. Was it right there? Where they're leaving. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Would everyone that is planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Which one of you is the applicant or?
Oh, good morning.
So good.
Yeah, he's all over that.
Okay, sir, could you state your name and address for the record?
Craig Richardson, 7138 South Bend Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60649.
7138.
Oh, I'm sorry, 7138 South Bennett Avenue, Chicago, 60649. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll just go down the line. Sir, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Ade, Ade, Odayemi, Onayemi. 706 North Taylor Avenue, Oak Park, Illinois, 60302.
You're the architect for this matter? Okay,
I am Watadri Murray, 1148 North Mayfield, Chicago, Illinois, 60651. WYTEDGURIE.
And I'm Juan T, Juan, last name TEAGUE. I am at 5922 South King Drive, Chicago, 60637.
all right, and as far as who wants to speak first, who wants to tell me what brings you in today?
So, we are the Batter and Berries project, Batter and Berries, and the Bruce project that's looking to be on the west side of Chicago and Austin. And so it has been a passion project now for 4 years that we have been having all kind of bumps in the road, and we're finally getting here. And so what brings us back, we initially got approved before, but after we got the last grant with the city, we learned that we were gonna do an outdoor patio. And we learned that it couldn't be zoned. So then we just decided to start all over again and now enclose the whole building.
Okay,
So that's what brings us back. We're coming back and getting the PPA for that. Yeah, okay.
and the way I understood the application is that it's basically gonna be operated as Batter and Berries for the daytime. And then I think it was at like 6 o'clock, it becomes the Bruce.
Yeah, the Bruce, which is named after my father. So pretty much, I was raised in Austin. And so before I was going to do an event space, but then I was a part of this project at the University of Chicago. And there really wasn't a big need. There was a need for not only for a sit-down restaurant, but also for like a full-service catering. So the actual chef from Batter and Berries, we designed like a catering menu so that people can actually order like they do like downtown. Typically, people in Austin go to either Oak Park, Oakbrook, all those places to actually do that. So that's one of the things we're doing. And because my company, we do a lot all over the US, we wanted to bring some of the actual events and programming that we do downtown, south side. We wanted to start bringing that to the west side because typically when we're looking for venues and things, I never can find something from the place I grew up in. So that's why.
Any questions from the board?
French toast flight can be on the menu.
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, with that, we'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next case, 136-24 Z 1824 North Kedzie.
Next time you can say hi. All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Counselor Guston, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, Freddie Guston, Los Sandbanks, I'm here on behalf of the applicant, 1824 North Kedzie condominium. Applicant is a condominium association for the building at 1824 North Kedzie. The building contains 4 units, which will remain. Condominium has been around for 3 years. Currently, it has 4 units and 4 exterior parking spaces at the rear. Within the last year, fortunately, the building has experienced some incidents. Namely, bicycles were stolen. One of the owner's bicycles were stolen. One of the cars that's parked in the rear window was smashed. So, you know, the association would like to obviously try to protect their property, personal property. And so in order to do that, they are proposing a rolling gate at the rear of the property. In order to establish that gate, we are seeking variations to reduce the combined side setback from 5 feet to 0 feet. The north side setback from 2 feet to 0. The rear setback from 50 feet to 0. We're also seeking to reduce the front setback. I think the permit drawing showed 15 feet. The building's actually only 14.71 feet. So in order to fix that discrepancy, we're seeking the front yard setback as well, relief. Here with me this morning on behalf of the applicant is Caroline Vasquez, project architect, Abdul Alex. And just real quick, Mr. Chairman, if I could just point out the neighboring property to South 1822 North Kedzie, they have a rolling gate. They were before the board back in June of 21. They were seeking variations for it. The board did approve that. So we're looking to do the exact same. So with that, I'll call my first witness. Ms. Vasquez, please state your name and address for the record.
Caroline Vasquez, 1824 North Kedzie Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60647.
And you are the president of the applicant, which is 1824 North Kedzie Condominium Association, is that right?
Yes,
And the association would like to construct a rolling gate at the rear of the property, is that right?
yes,
And in order to do that, we are here seeking variations to the side, rear setbacks, as well as the front setbacks, is that correct?
yes,
You executed an affidavit, which I submitted to the board on your behalf, is that right?
yes.
And if we continued your testimony, would be consistent with your affidavit, correct? Thank you. Mr. Alexa, please state your name and address for the record.
Radu Alexa, 4747 West Peterson, Chicago, Illinois, 60646.
And you are a licensed architect in the state of Illinois.
Yep,
Applicant is seeking to establish this rolling gate, as I alluded to, is that right?
correct.
And in order to do that, we are seeking variations to the rear side setbacks as well as the front setbacks, is that right?
Yes,
You executed an affidavit, which I submitted to the board on your behalf.
yes,
And if we continued, your testimony would be consistent with your affidavit. Is that right?
yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions. We're here to answer questions the board may have.
Any questions from the board? We will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, 137-24 S 1812 to 14 South Avenue.
Sorry.
Janine? Can you text her the,
Yeah, just put it in the text.
Thank you.
Okay, 18. South Africa.
Mr. Chairman, we had updates from the updated all. I amended our,
Is that Janine?
and it's just, there are certain changes that were made to our documents, so I want to make sure you have most updated documents. That one's one, I'm sorry. So here's 3. And the only exhibits will be changed are just exhibits D7, which shows the latest drawings that were submitted. I think they were submitted Thursday, so I just want to make sure you got updated.
So you're in opposition. You're in objection.
No,
Yes, you can sit right here.
Okay, before we begin, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. So are you hearing objection where this is calendar number 13724 S? The address is 1812 to 1814 South Ashland?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you raise your right hand as well. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 13724 S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval to establish a 251 seat religious assembly use in the basement and first floor of an existing 4-story commercial building, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Victory Outreach City Church, Chicago. 2, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 19, 2024, version 3, prepared by Axiom Design Architects. And 3, final plans and elevations are reviewed and approved by historic preservation staff prior to issuance of any permits. For the benefit of the objector here, the way this is going to work is first, the applicant will put on their case as to why they believe they're entitled to the special use permit. And then we'll go to you so you can state your objection. You'll also be able to ask questions of the applicant's witnesses if you wish. You don't have to, but you can. And then we'll turn it back to the applicant for closing remarks and we'll take it under advisement. Okay, with that, Counselor, you can proceed.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, my name is Richard Baker with offices at 1 North and South here in Chicago. And I represent Victory Outreach City Church in Chicago. The church is a community-based church that has been involved in the Pilsen community for many years with up to 90% of its members as part of the community. The church currently has a 6-year lease on the property located at 1812 to 14 South Ashland Avenue, which is located in a C1-3 district. That's why we're here seeking a special use. The church seeks a special use to allow the conversion of existing 4-story historic building for use as its church with a 251 seat sanctuary. By way of summary, the building is currently vacant and somewhat dilapidated with gang graffiti, which will be removed as part of the church's renovation of the property. It was designed as the Blazensky Sokol, which is a Czech athletic club and gymnasium in the 1890s. The interior design of this historic building is well suited for the church's needs, including large open spaces, both for the development of the sanctuary and for additional fellowship space, as well as for offices and classrooms. The interior of this building is on exhibit D1B, if anybody is interested. The primary use of the church will be on Sundays during non-peak hours from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for its worship service. And during the week, other activities will include youth sport programs, performing arts and multimedia and music classes, the Hope Culture Chicago, a faith-based community intervention program, the Urban Training Center, whose purpose is to assist young people in answering the call for God in their lives, and also a career readiness access needs assessment office open to the community. The church has worked closely with the 25th Ward Alderman, C. Joe Lopez, whose letter of support is here as exhibit D6. Also, the church has worked with the zoning department, which was carefully reviewed the project. And in addition to the approval of the project, has issued a letter indicating the parking for the property is adequate. That, by the way, is exhibit D2 for any question there. As part of the application process, the church has submitted proposed findings of fact and affidavits of all 3 witnesses, including the CVs and licenses of both the appraiser Stephen Albert, who is here. Also that of architect Mark Rodolphe, who is Axiom, which was mentioned earlier, who is also present. Both experts have appeared before this board on numerous occasions and testified on behalf of various churches seeking a special use and for a variance. Accordingly, what I would like to do is introduce all the credentials and the evidence. I have given you the updated plans as were just mentioned by the department as part of our evidence. And I would like to have them each testify as to the truth of the affidavits that have been presented already. There is no change in those, even though we did have some change in plans.
Okay,
And then leave it open to the board for any further questions.
okay.
So, first of all, Manny, would you state your name and for the record?
Manny Rivera, 712 West 31st Street, 60616. Pastor, Manny Rivera, pastor.
Of the church, that's the applicant, is that correct? And you're seeking a special use for use of that property for your church?
Yes, sir.
And you did prepare an affidavit which was submitted to this board?
Yes.
And if I were to call you to testify at this point, could you testify that what you have said in there is true and accurate and would be accurate as of today?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Rodolphe, I understand you are the architect of this project,
Yes,
and you worked very closely with the board, I'm sorry, not with the board, with the Department of Planning on this,
yes,
including submitting plans as of, I believe, yesterday that were updated.
Thursday.
Okay, and you also presented an affidavit as part of our pleadings that have been submitted to the board, is that correct?
That's right.
And if I were to ask you, is that affidavit you presented accurate and truthful? What would your answer?
Yes, with a caveat, can I?
I'll take your caveat.
I mentioned in my affidavit that the building is a landmark building. It is not. I looked on the Pilsen Historic District website. It's called out there as a landmark building, and I ran with it. But it is not. It's not a Chicago landmark. It's called an orange
Rated building.
orange rated, and which means that it has historic value, but not quite to the point of being a landmark. Secondly, I call the basement first floor because it's going to be used like a first floor reception gathering area, but it's actually a basement, and the drawings are changed to call it a basement. I got my wrist slapped for calling it a ground floor by the DOD.
Does that change in the categorization of its landmark status have anything to do with park?
No.
Thank you. My third witness is my appraiser. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Stephen Albert.
And you have submitted an affidavit as well with regard to having visited the site and also having made an appraisal as to the 5 questions that come up with the special use. Is that correct?
I have, that's correct.
And if I were to call you to testify, would your testimony be the same as it is in that affidavit with regard to your appraisal of this property?
It would, but with the same caveat. Public record shows the building is a National Registry building, when in fact it's an orange building. That inconsistency has no impact on the outcome of our observations whatsoever.
Thank you.
All right, with that, let's turn to the objector. Sir, could you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, my name is Marco Moreno. Address is 1815 South Ashland. I actually live across that very nice building.
Okay, and so tell us why you're here in objection to this matter.
Well, I don't see comparing this building where you're trying to bring 400 people. You might have very nice plans, architecture plans, but how about the outside? There's no parking spot for 400. It's already a mess outside, and I don't see where you can park so many cars without area.
So you're concerned about the congestion that this special use, if it was granted, what it would do to the congestion in the neighborhood?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you have any other concerns?
About if you are gonna do any changes to the building. I've been living in that area for 30 years, and I've been doing a lot of research of history. And I would hate to see any changes on the, those buildings.
Okay. Okay. Did you have any questions for any of the applicant's witnesses that you wanted to ask?
No.
Okay. Let me ask a couple of questions. So we've heard a concern about parking. Can you address that?
Yes, first, I'll have Pastor Manny testify to it. Tell us about your congregation and what you plan to do with regard to who's attending the buses around there and how you plan to deal with that question.
Sure, just to start, this is 40 years in the making. Victory Outreach started there in Pilsen, 1985. Rick Alanis and his family started the church. It's been a long journey. It's been 40 years, and finding this facility, it's been very, very difficult for us. We traveled all through the city, and everybody's been telling us to come home to Pilsen. So before we started anything, as you can see, we did our homework. We went to the alderman. We said, hey, we want to come home. He says, we need you here. We need you back. He says, what did you got? I said, well, there's a building. And he said, I gave him the address, and we went and looked at the building, the property. It's broken windows, spray painted. I mean, you name it. Gangs outside, drugs being sold in the back alley. Been many times been reported to the office.
How long has the building been vacant?
And Alex would know more. I would say, I know 10 years, maybe longer.
Okay.
Talking to the alderman, he said, hey, listen, you guys are the perfect occupant for this place. If there's anybody we want there, we want you guys. That took us to, step B would be, hey, can we get in there? Right. And we did the parking, evaluation. We got the relief in place. There's, most of the people there are, on the CTA, on buses. It's perfect there's a few churches. I mean, if you look down the block, there's a large Catholic church there, probably, 3 blocks down. I mean, there's another large location. So we fit well there as far as the congestion and things like that. Most of the people are going to be using public transportation. So we made sure that was okay. And we got the relief from the alderman's office and the city. As far as the building, that thing is a mess. I mean, I wish we could have had some inside pictures of what it looks like. So what we want to do is we're going to put a lot of money into it. Obviously, we want that thing to be the jewel of Pilsen and for that community, because that community really needs it right now. And that is our goal. That is our plan. I mean, you can see that there. You can see how it looks. We're gonna clean up that outside. We're gonna spray it down. We're gonna redo it, make it. We're not changing anything as far as we want to keep that historical look on the outside. Of course, it's beautiful, but the inside, I mean, there's holes in the walls. It's spray painted. I mean, it's a mess. So our goal is to give it everything we got. We want to be the victory there. We want to be to have that, the lighthouse there in Pilsen. So that is the plan. That is the goal there. We've hired the best there is. It's been very expensive for a small congregation. We have about 120 people now. We're looking to get, like we said, I think the maximum is 251. And the main thing is our children. I mean, we need a good place for our youth. I mean, we can go on and on. We have a program manager here for our programs that we're gonna bring in. There's a lot to talk about, so I don't want to, I know.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
I I wanted to get the response on the parking, and you did answer that, and we'll stay focused on what the objection is. Are there any questions from the board?
How are the upper levels of this building going to be used?
We're gonna take it in phases. Currently, I think now we're only leasing basement, which is gonna be, like you said, a reception area, and then the first floor. And then, from what I understand, I think Alex could correct me if I'm wrong, that's gonna be maybe like a third phase or fourth phase later on. Hopefully we can get that rest completed.
How are they currently being used?
They're not, it's all vacant, the whole building is just vacant.
Any other questions from the board?
Where, excuse me, you might have said this, I missed it. Where are you currently meeting?
We're currently renting a facility, 63rd and Troy. It's a Spanish church, and they're allowing us to use their facility in a later time on Sundays.
And how do you remember skip? You're saying a lot of people will be coming by bus or transit. I'm just trying to figure out how you know that, because I do know that area. It's Costco I go to is right there, so I drive it. So I do recognize the objector's concern because it is a very dense area that's pretty trafficky. So I'm just trying to picture how are you basing how your members are getting there?
Yeah, I mean, you have the Ashland bus goes right up north-south Ashland. You have the pink line, it's like, well, actually, I took it from there here today. It was pretty quick. Pink line's right around the corner. That train is accessible right there. It's pretty accessible.
I know you mentioned a lot of your members live in the Pilsen area already, so they're commuting to where you are now. Is that what you're?
Yeah, the ones that are in the area, Alex, I mean, few of them that are here today, they get there, it's really close.
There is a exhibit D7C, which does have the transit documents on it. You're probably working from the old one. This is the new one that they asked us to resubmit. So that does address some of the transit issues that come up here. Just for the record, to clarify, the objective was concerned with 400 people descending on the area. Our maximum is 251. That's what we're looking for. I would also point out that, and it is in the testimony, is the hours for use are primarily on Sunday from 9 to 12:30. Those hours are generally not peak hours within that, but I believe my appraiser has testified to that. And in addition to that, weekday use is probably 30 to 50 people for the type of programs that we've been talking about at this point. So hopefully that does object some of the two objections. Number one, we agree that building is an historic building that's really important in the area. That's one of the reasons they give you the parking exception they do, is because they think it's important. And we want to restore the graffiti and clean it up. And so that objection we totally agree with. The second one with regard to parking, any type of use that's going to use that building is because that's an assembly type building. It was originally a gymnasium. Some of the previous uses were all assembly, and that's one of the reasons that they allow the parking that they do. Is we're in the city. What are you going to do?
Okay, I did want to just note something, because the recommendation from the department is for the basement and first floor. To the extent that the special use is granted and you want to use additional floors, you would need to come back for another special use, just so you understand that. Okay.
I'm sure that breaks his heart, but we'll do it. So,
all right, with that, seeing no other questions from the board members, we will take this matter under advisement. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next case, 13824 2458 South Baldy.
Hey, Victor, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess. I move, I want to take a short recess. It is, I move that we recess until 10:05 a.m. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes. We're in recess for the next 5 minutes. reconvene this meeting of the zoning board of appeals. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, and we are back calling our next case, which is calendar number 13824S. You're an attorney?
Yes.
You're representing the applicant?
Correct.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and read the department's recommendation. The Department of Planning, this is the recommendation for calendar number 13824S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed hair salon. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Juan Tristan with Tristan Cervantes. And with me, I also have Rodolfo Ramos, who is to my left, who is the applicant, Mr. Michael Bolin, who is seated next to him. And so both will testify. I'll be brief. Essentially, this is a B3-1 zoning district. And we are trying to establish a hair salon located within 1,000 feet of an existing personal service, located also within the same district. The proposal of Style Parlor LLC, which is the stated name for the salon, is going to be providing a variety of services, different than and differentiating itself from the types of services that are being provided within the zone. We have the unique position of having met both with the alderman of the 12th ward, who was previously representative of this area, and then in the change of redistricting, we now also met with Alderman Byron Sincho, who is currently the alderman that would represent this particular area. Both met with approval of this project, and unfortunately, I did not provide a letter from Alderman Sincho, but happy to provide it to the chair if that's necessary for their review of this. I'm going to ask Mr. Ramos to speak a little bit about what his background, and then also ask Mr. Warren to talk a little bit about the submission which he made, which provides what I will submit to the board as expert information regarding the project. So with that, I'll go ahead and ask questions unless
Let me actually just jump in and ask a few questions of the applicant. Sir, can you state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, my name is Rodolfo Ramos, 2730 South Baldwin.
Okay, and you're gonna be the owner of this hair salon?
Correct, owner and manager.
Okay, and are you a licensed cosmetologist?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and how many employees are you intending to have?
We have 6 booths available, so I'll be taking 1, so 5 chairs remain.
Okay, and they'll all be licensed?
Correct.
Okay. And you prepared an affidavit with regard to this application, is that true? And if you were to continue to testify, you testify consistent with that affidavit?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Mr. Woolen, the board recognizes your expertise.
Thank you.
You prepared a report in this matter, is that true?
I know.
And if you were to continue to testify, you testify consistent with that report?
I would.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next case, 13924Z 4203 South Langley.
Never said that rules, I think it's respectful. I apologize. That's not. It's just, it just feels wrong.
It's cozy in here. It's cozy.
Tight quarters, actually. Tight quarters.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do.
Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Agnes Placa.
attorney with law firm of Champion Berlin, located at 111 West Washington, Chicago. I represent Cody and Patricia, the owners of the property. And I am joined today here by Cody, Patricia, and Anna, the architect, if you would like to swear.
Did I not do that?
Yes, you
I just did it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. See?
She's not paying.
All right, so the subject property is improved with an existing row type house of building with 2 dwelling units, which was built more than 100 years ago, non-conforming conditions. Cody needs to replace the existing front porch. And because it's not conforming, creates all these hardships. And even though it's being proposed to replace in exactly the same location, exactly the same size, it's gonna be brick and masonry, but of course, it's all these variations. So Cody, state your name and address for the record again.
Hello, my name is Cody Nicholson, and this is my home at 4203 South Langley, Chicago, Illinois, 60653.
And is it true that the new porch has been designed to be exactly the same size and the same location as the existing porch?
Yes, that is correct.
And is it also true that the strict compliance with the current regulations of the front and side setbacks would require you to actually demolish the front portion of the building? So it would create extremely difficult hardship for you.
Yes, the setback would make it very challenging to accomplish that.
And Cody, you actually discussed this project with your neighbors and with Alderman Robinson, and you collected some letters of support from the neighbors and also support letter from Alderman Robinson, correct?
That's correct.
And we did submit those letters into evidence.
And we do have them in the file.
Thank you, sir. So with that, you signed an affidavit which contained all your statements testifying in support of the criteria for this variation. So if I continue to question you, will your testimony be consistent with the statements in that affidavit?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. That's all that I have for you. Anna, state your name and address for the record again.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anna Wolf. I'm the architect and my address is 3730 North Kenneth Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60641.
Thank you. And since the subject zoning lot is a very narrow lot, we have only 20.5 feet of lot width. There's really no additional alternative location where that front porch could be located, correct?
Correct.
And that obviously creates hardships.
Exactly.
And one of the main purposes of the zoning ordinance is to preserve existing older buildings and provide sustainable housing options, correct?
Yes.
So this proposed rehab and preservation is definitely in line with the ordinance intent and purpose.
Correct.
And Anna, you also signed an affidavit which contained your statements in support of this variation, and we submitted that affidavit to the board.
Yes.
And if I continue to question you, your testimony will be consistent with the statements contained in that affidavit. That's it. That's all that I have for this, and we are open for questioning.
So this is Commissioner Esposito. I'm looking at, the photo of the existing building and comparing it to the architectural plans. It looks like you're altering the historic character of the building. I'm just curious why.
So again, I will let them respond. What they're doing is they're just replacing the brick because there's some structural instability in the brick. Cody, want to respond? Or Anna, who's better?
Yes, we're replacing the brick in the front, so it makes kind of sense to bring it forward to the porch area.
And the cornice you're removing as well?
Yes, as of not right now, yes.
Is your adjacent neighbor aware of these changes?
Yes.
And have they expressed any concern?
No. We're also taking the brick from the front, and we're gonna put it to the side. We need the brick to restore the side of the building and brick elsewhere that has to be repaired.
So you're gonna use.
Yes, we're reusing
Yes.
the existing brick.
The brick is a orange color, which is very difficult to get, and it would be pretty much impossible to. So,
We had already started on the side when we first got the property, but only found out that the brick, we were limited to what we could get and then it was showing a big difference, the repairs versus what was there.
Okay, just an observation that the historic character of the property is changing dramatically.
If we were able to get the existing brick, we
It's
would
not
have
just a
no
matter of
problem, the same color and stuff, we would have no problem restoring it with.
Yeah, I think what Commissioner Esposito is
talking
really
about
focusing on.
the
is-
shape of it.
Is the cornice.
The
for
cornice,
example, and the nature
losing
of the
that.
porch, the character of the porch. I realize that's not the purview of this board, but it's somewhat disappointing.
Well, there's a lot of the houses that are on the block that have these concrete porches. That's where he got the
Oh,
idea from.
I understand.
So
But
it's,
there are fewer and fewer buildings
With
of this
that kind of-
beauty and character. It's just my observation.
the ornamental steel on the top, we've tried to replace that, because it needs to be repaired on the side. And we're having a hard time doing that. We're trying to keep that also.
There are squirrels living that actually will go into the cornice and it's very rusted and lots of holes. It's difficult for us to rehab that. I also felt a similar way about the cornice when I was initially starting this project, because I also would like to preserve that historical character. But I wish we had some closer zoomed in shots of the cornice that could show you some of the difficulty that might be
I understand.
It's also a matter of, right? I mean, I've replaced cornices like this, they're very, very expensive.
And just to kind of, we obviously submitted the profit margin analysis for, but when he bought it in 2020, the building was just full of violations, all kinds of issues. So up to this point, he already spent a substantial amount of money trying to rehab it and still save the building because he still feels like he's saving the building. So at some point, it's just too much money to continue. So
I understand.
might have been much longer.
Right. Thank you.
thank you for the questions, sir.
Any other questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement.
Thank you, sir.
Next two cases, 14024Z, 14124Z, 2235 West Cortez.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, and 14224.
I'm sorry. Patty. Thank you. R-E-N-K-I-W-I-Z-Z-B.
That's what I'm spelling.
No problem. For more?
Oh, right here. Oh, I get like. You probably wouldn't be like.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with short form.
Thank you, sir. Again, for the record, my name is Agnes Black. I'm an attorney with Malcolm of Germany in Berlin. And I represent Nadia and Vasil Vojtanovic, the owners of this property and the applicants in this proposed variation. And looking at the agenda, it seems like this is a lot of relief that we're asking here, but we had another rehab project, and this one, Commissioner Esposito will stay in its own glory and beauty, not touching the front. It is beautiful, and the owners are very proud of it. And this whole saga, the whole rehab began in 2021 when they got the first permit to rehab. And at that point, they wanted to prepare the existing apartments for some pending measures who were seeking to refrain. They were seeking asylum in the wake of the pending war. So they started the rehab pursuant to the permit. The inspector came and it was evident that there was a storage shed built in the rear, which was not included in the permit. He told them to amend the permit. They amended, they filed for amended permit. And at that point, DPD decided that that old existing porch that you can see, 3-story enclosed porch, there was never any permit record, even though it's an old 50-year-old porch. So now we have to include that porch as well. Everything is non-conforming, existing, very old. So all these variations are basically seeking to legalize these existing conditions. And with that, Nadia, would you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure, my name is Nadia Vojtanovic. My current address is 855 East Coach Road in Palatine, Illinois, 60074.
And during the city inspection pursuant to the permit issued, this was brought to your attention that the storage has to be included in a revised permit, correct? And you filed for that permit, and during the zoning review of that revised permit, you were told that the old 3-story enclosed porch has to also be included, correct?
Right.
And since the existing building is non-conforming, everything was built almost all the way up to the property line. There's just not enough space to do a detached storage shed, which would be actually allowed by right, correct?
Exactly.
So this is causing you great hardship because without these variations, you would not be able to have any additional storage. Because the property is located in the landmark district, you're not able to build any additions up to the front, to the side. So you are very limited in terms of what you can do and still want to preserve, save, rehab the building, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Nadia, you signed the affidavit which we prepared, which contained all your statements in support of these variations, correct?
Yes.
And if I continue to question you, your testimony will be consistent with the statements contained in your affidavit. Okay. And Andy, you are the project architect,
Correct.
and since the property is located in the Ukrainian Village District, this project, this rehab, had also have to go through the permit review of the Landmark Commission, correct?
Correct.
And we already have a preliminary approval
That's true.
from that, okay? And Andrew, you also signed an affidavit which contained all your testimony in support of these variations and procedure
Correct.
here today. So if I continue to question you, will your testimony be
Yes, of
consistent
course.
with your statements? Thank you, sir. And we are open for questioning. Whoops.
You were talking over each other. and
Oh.
hard for me to- yeah, That's okay.
Okay, should we repeat something?
No, not at all.
Okay. So that would be all, and we're open for questions.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under
Thank you,
advisement.
sir.
Thank you.
Next case, 14324S, 838 North David.
Are we gonna fill in the back wall?
All right, while everyone is getting situated, I will go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 14324S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval to establish residential use below the second floor in a new 3-story, 2-flat building, provided the development is consistent with the design and layout of the title sheet with site plan and elevations dated April 2, 2024, and floor plans and wall sections and garage floor plans dated January 4, 2024, all prepared by Edward Livanu. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do. Yes.
Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. Counselor Pleka, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, sir. Again, for the record, my name is Agnes Black. I'm an attorney with law firm of Jaffe in Berlin. And I'm here on behalf of Daniel Michalescu and his company, 838 and Damon LLC. And very simply, the subject property, I just realized that I have 3 in a row old 100-year-old buildings. Now, this one, unfortunately, we are not able to say. There are too many structural issues. So a frame building, so this building is being demolished and the applicant is proposing to redevelop the property with another residential building. This is a B3 district, so as you know, we need special use review and approval in order to continue using the property for residential purposes on the ground floor. And with that, Danny, state your name and address for the record.
Daniel Michalescu, 6339 North Pulaski Road, Chicago, Illinois, 60646.
And Danny, is it true that this property is both narrow and substandard lots? We have only 24 feet wide and only 104 feet deep. So this property is not large enough to actually build a viable commercial unit on the ground floor. Is that true?
Correct.
So instead, you're proposing to continue the existing use, the existing residential use, and just merely replace it with a new 3-story residential building with 2 family units, which will provide multi-generational living arrangements. So it's very much in convenience, in the public convenience, correct?
Yes, the dwelling units will, the 2 dwelling units will include 4 bedrooms and approximately about 2,000 square feet of livable space.
So family friendly.
Very
nice.
family friendly.
All right. And you actually did some research, you took some pictures, and your research shows that out of 29 zoning lots on this block, there are only 4 commercial units. And out of those 4, there are 2 that are vacant, correct? Is that true?
That is correct. The area has a high demand for residential units. The vacancy on the commercial side is very evident.
Okay, so your proposed special use will not be adverse and cause any problems for the public welfare or property in the area, correct?
No.
It is very much consistent and compatible with the current land uses. of that
Yes.
block. Okay. And then you signed the affidavit which contain all your testimony in support of this special use.
Yes,
And if I continue to question you, your testimony will be consistent with the statements contained in your affidavit, correct? Okay, Alana, can you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Juana Hergueda Jo, and my business address is 20 North Clark, Chicago, Illinois, 60602.
And the building that you designed strictly complies with all the bulk requirements of the underlying zoning.
That's
district. Is that
correct.
True. So as such, it's actually well designed under the maximum limits.
For purposes of the record, because we have a court reporter taking everything down, wait for her to finish her question before you answer.
Okay.
Just so that you're not talking over each other, okay? Thank you.
All right, so let's try that again. So because it's designed well under the maximum limits allowed in B3-2, it is definitely compatible with the intent of the ordinance, right?
That's right.
And complies with all the applicable standards of the zoning.
That's right.
Is that true? And since basically most of the buildings on this block are residential, it is also true that is in the interest of the public convenience, correct?
That's
And
correct.
it is less intense, the proposed dwelling unit on the ground floor, it is less intense use than any of the existing commercial uses which are permitted by right in the B3 district, correct? And Juana, you signed the affidavit?
Yes, I did.
And it contained the statements in support of the special use?
Yes,
And if I continue to question you, will your testimony be consistent with your statement?
That's
in
right.
that Affidavit? Again.
yes, I do.
Just gotta, just wait, just wait for her to get the question out.
Let's try it again. So you signed the affidavit,
Yes, I did.
and the affidavit contained your statements in support of the special use, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And if I continue to question you, will your testimony be consistent with the statements contained in your affidavit?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that is all that I have for witnesses.
Joe Ryan?
Oh, Joe Ryan. Joe, please forgive me. I didn't see you at all. Joe, please state your name and address for the record.
Joseph M. Ryan, MAI President, LaSalle Appraisal Group with offices at 9455 South Horn Avenue in Chicago.
And sir, did you prepare a report, a written report which we submitted to the board in support of the special use?
I did.
And is it your opinion that the proposed special use is in the interest of the public convenience?
Yes,
And the basis for your opinion?
that the market trends of development and market demand is for residential at this location, not retail, and there is no demand for retail at this location.
Thank you, sir. And if I continue to question you, will your testimony be consistent with your opinions contained in your report?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right, are there any questions from the board? Take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next case, 14424S, 4511 South State Street.
All right, while everyone is getting situated, I will go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 14424S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval to expand an existing 208-seat religious assembly use into new single-story additions with a renovated 14-stall off-street accessory parking lot, provided the special use is issued solely to the applicant, St. Matthew Baptist Church, Inc., and the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 9, 2024, prepared by PMPC Architects. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you very much. My name for the record is Thomas S. Moore. Will you tell the board who you are?
I am Ernest Brown, pastor of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church.
And the church has been there since 1959. And it had Robert Taylor Homes right across the street until some years ago. Is that right?
That's right.
And at that time, you lost some of your constituents, but some still come back. And you still have constituents in the neighborhood to the east.
Absolutely.
But your congregation is getting older and there are funerals, and other than the sanctuary itself, you have no place really for after a funeral, for instance, for the people to congregate socially or to complete the service. Is that right?
That's right.
And so you're hoping to add an addition to the existing church so that you can have a non sanctuary space. Is that?
Yes, sir. That's right.
And you and I have run this by the alderman, and she is very supportive. Is that right?
That's right.
And you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this special use. If you were to continue to testify, you testify consistently. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Will you tell us who you are, please?
John Pimentel with PMPC Architects.
And you have designed the Reverend Brown's proposed addition, is that right?
Correct.
And if it were, and it will comply with all of the criteria, all of the codes and ordinances in the city of Chicago, is that right?
Correct.
And you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this relief, and if you were to continue to testify consistently with it, is that right?
That's correct.
Mr. Ryan, you did a report, did you? I did. And what was your finding with regard to meeting the criteria necessary for the board to grant this special use?
Well, the proposed use is an expansion of an existing religious assembly. Religious assemblies, buildings typically have community rooms, and this would fit right into that criteria. I examined all the criteria for this board to grant a reduction and found that it met all of the said criteria.
And the board has your report, and if you were to continue to testify, you testify consistently with that report, is that right?
Yes.
That is our case.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this under advisement. Thank you. Thank you.
Next case, 14624 D 9301 South Hamilton.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Yes. Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you. My name is Tom Moore. Tell the board who you are.
Peter Kramer.
And you live at 9301 Hamilton, is that right?
That's correct.
Who do you live there with?
My wife, 4 children, and a dog.
And it's like a 1940s or 30s Land and Stone.
Correct, I think it's early forties.
Okay, and there is, on the back of it, there is an addition, like a family room, a den, is that right?
That's correct.
And, it was leaking, the roof was leaking into the room.
Correct.
And so, you looked into replacing the roof, and while you're at it, you wanted it's right off your bedroom. You wanted to be able to go out there and have your coffee out there. And so you hired an architect to see if it structurally would be able to hold people out on that roof. Is that right?
A little different, but basically water came in, we needed a new roof. And part of the new roof was the whole fence had to come off and that fence wasn't coated anyway. And so then when we were exploring a new fence or a new around the roof, everyone we talked to said, you're not gonna be able to put a fence in here without guaranteeing yourself getting more water. So then we had hired the architect to. Well,
And what the architect told you is, since you're, even though you have a Hamilton address, your building is towards the side street, is that right?
correct, along
And-
93rd.
And you have like 60 feet, the front yard on Hamilton.
Yes,
And so the part of this den is in the rear yard.
yes,
So you need a variance to be able to do this work.
that's what was explained to me.
And when you're done with the work, it'll be code compliant.
That's the hope.
Okay. And you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this relief. And if you were to continue to testify, you testify consistently, if it is that right.
Correct.
You tell us who you are, sir.
Mike Ryan with Chicago Roof Tech and Garden.
And what in essence is the hardship that we need to, why do we need this variance from them?
You touched on it, that the property's fronting, the short depth of the lot and that the addition is already in the rear yard. We did thorough inspections of the addition. It doesn't have the proper foundations or roof structure to support a rooftop deck. We're actually spanning over the roof with new steel beams, and it's really just the steel beams that come out as a buttress to support the roof deck. I angled with the zoning administrator that should be allowed by 170311 as a buttress, but they didn't agree.
They gave you a denial instead.
Yes, so here we are.
And you and I worked out an affidavit. If you were to continue to testify, you testify consistently with your affidavit. Is that right?
Yes.
That's obvious.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next two cases, 147-24Z, 148-24Z, 1845 West 21st Place.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Councilor Moore, you can proceed with the short form, but get in a little bit on the hardship on this one.
Yes. So my name, for the record, is Tom Moore, and will you tell the board who you are?
I'm Dean Economist and the owner of the property.
And it's a 3-flat, and you've been living on the top floor.
Correct.
And it is in the pre-fire Pilsen extension area where it has the vaulted sidewalks and alley, and the first floor, the ground, you have to go down about 6 or 7 feet to get there. Is that right?
Yeah.
And in the rear, which is what we're talking about here, there is an existing steel structure that is the fire escape. Is that right? And it also has a bridge over to the vaulted alley. In other words, from the fire escape over to get into, you have a
Where the exit to the parking pad is.
you have a parking pad existing. And what you want to do is build a garage where the parking pad is for you and your tenants' convenience, but also for safety, because there has been some problems in the alley there. Is that right? And So the existing bridge that's there now will give access to the garage, just like it currently does to the pad. Is that right? But you also would like to have a garage, since you're building this new structure, you'd like to have a garage roof deck. Is that right? And so there would also be a structure from the existing steel structure to get on the garage roof deck. And the architect can explain it further, but your understanding is because the existing structures and the fact that there's the 6-foot extra depth, it's not practical to be able to have another parallel stair. Is that right? You certainly can't do it on the either side because the existing deck is a lot line to lot line. Is that right? Right. And the existing structures and the existing access to the parking would also be in the way. Is that correct? And you and I worked out and incidentally, we have the support of the alderman. We made a presentation there. Is that right? Right. And you're not aware of any neighbor or anybody objecting at all. Is that right? Correct. So, and you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this. And if you were to continue to testify, you testify consistently with it. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell us who you are, sir.
Scott Shelvis with Architectural Studios.
Right. And the chairman has asked us to explain our hardship. Can you please do that?
Yeah, the main issue we have was from the building department, since we're proposing the bridge, attaching it, they're now calling the building, actually the whole thing, the 3 flat and the garage is one structure. So that's why we're asking for the setback variances, also the rear yard setback issue. The existing rear yard is substandard with the existing pad and the roof deck and their existing patio deck. So we are trying not to remove the existing concrete because actually that is actually attached to the neighbor's property as well. So that's why we're looking at trying to do the garage and having the bridge that, not adding another stair. With the height we would end up having to put a platform in the run of the stair, and that won't make the 25 feet width that we have on the property. And we need the basically zero lot line to get the 3 parking spaces within the garage.
And we have a second variance in order to meet the current code, which has changed since the way they interpret it now, to do the whole circle. There would not be room in that variance.
No, there's not. As it is right now, there's not enough room.
So our second variance is to put to meet that
open space
on top of the.
That's correct.
And you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this relief. Is that right?
That's correct.
And if you were to continue to testify, would you testify consistently with?
That's correct.
Any questions from the board? We'll take it under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, 149-24Z, 4527 North Kilbourne.
Yep.
Here on both sides.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Yes, thank you very much. You can proceed with the short.
Thank you. My name is Tom Moore. Will you tell the board who you are?
My name is Kamsen Tahiri. My husband and I purchased 4527 North Kilbourne just a few months ago.
Okay. And you currently have a permit and are working on the interior and the roof. Is that right?
It is for everything, but yes.
Well, we're here for the variance for the garage, right?
Correct.
So, for a separate, you're gonna get a separate permit, to do that.
Correct.
Okay. And this house was in terrible disrepair. Order had it, it took, ages just to get all the old stuff out of it. And the old garage actually had collapsed. Is that right?
The old garage had collapsed and code enforcement had actually come in to entirely demolish it due to the pests that had invaded.
And so, now you have to replace the garage. And, you could replace it. There is no alley, is that right?
Correct.
And you do have a driveway, right?
Correct.
And you could replace it back at the back of the lot where it was before. Is that
Correct.
right? But you would have to have a cement driveway, a non-permeable, well, you'd have a driveway all the way to the back. Is that right?
Correct.
And so, you thought it made more sense, and you've talked to your neighbors, they thought it made more sense to move it up closer to the house. Is that right?
Correct.
And then you will be able to have, you have a very deep lot, 150 feet or something. And so then you'll be able to have a green space and a garden back there instead of cement.
Correct.
And the neighbors across the non-alley, they were thrilled with having that extra green space. Is that right?
Yes.
And we also have 2 letters from the neighbors on either side. Is that right?
Correct.
And, you and I worked out an affidavit where we addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this. If you were to continue to testify consistently with it, is that right?
Yes.
And you, sir, will you tell the board who you are?
Michael Voludicus. I own the home with my wife, Kamson.
Is there anything you'd like to add to the, what your wife has said?
We actually also have a letter of support from the Mayfair Civic Association. We attended their meeting and they were all in support of the project as well.
And you and I worked out an affidavit where you, if you were to continue to testify, would you testify consistently with it? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you, sir, what, will you tell us your name and how you're involved in the case?
I'm Michael Ryan, the architect with Chicago Roof Deck.
And, what were the design, difficulties that led you to, design the, new garage this way?
I think you already summed it up well. The ability to have a nice great green space in the back of the property as well as less, impervious lot coverage. Just makes a lot of sense for the design. It also keeps the attached garage closer to the residence.
And you and I worked out an affidavit where you addressed all the criteria necessary for the board to grant this, and if you were to continue to testify consistently with it, is that right?
Yes.
That is our case, and we do have 2 letters to add.
Okay. Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next 3 cases, 150-24S, 154-24Z, and 152-24Z, 219 North Justine.
You're gonna still on that.
While everyone is getting situated, I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 150-24S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval to establish a participant sports and recreation golf simulator use within an existing 2-story commercial building, provided the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Ace Golf Club LTD, and the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 18, 2024, prepared by Andrew Wang. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do. Yes.
Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. O'Brien's expertise, and Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Richard Toth. I'm attorney with Office of South Clark Street. We're here before the applicant, Ace Golf Club. The applications, as you noted, there's 3 of them for 219 North Justine, primarily for a new golf simulator business in an existing building, but also for parking and bicycle space relief. The property is in planned manufacturing district 4A. The lot's only 103 feet deep. Lots about 4,100 square feet in area. There's an existing building that will remain for a transit served location. We propose to renovate the long vacant building and operate the golf simulator business. We have received and accommodated review comments, as you noted, from the Department of Planning's special use reviewers. We believe we responded to and accommodated those requests. We're not aware of any objectors. Present with me this morning are the applicant's president, Juan Padilla, its representative, Claudia Esparza, who will manage the site. Also with us today is project architect Danny Alexa, expert appraiser witness Terry O'Brien, who's prepared a report which we've submitted, and also Gerald Garcia, another consultant. I'll just introduce Mr. Padilla as our first witness. Could you please state your name, spell your last name?
Juan Padilla, last name is Padilla.
You're the president and chief executive officer of Ace Golf Club, is that correct?
Yes.
You're familiar with the subject property, the surrounding area, the proposed operations and uses, is that correct?
Yes.
You just heard me describing the property, the applicant proposed business. Was everything I said accurate?
Yes, I think, isn't it 4B? Which is
Oh,
flexible. That's
I'll
4A
be
is-
corrected. It is 4B, you're correct. Thank you for that. Everything else was correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Your background is, you have a background in starting and operating businesses and business compliance. You run a facilities maintenance company with over 300 employees already. You consult for other businesses and you're an investor in other businesses. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you purchased this property. The property was built sometime in 1928. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so you bought the property as it is, basically lot line to lot line, within those parameters.
Correct.
Otherwise, you and I worked out an affidavit, which you submitted, is to call upon to testify further. Would your testimony be in accordance with that affidavit?
Yes.
Good. We have, Claudia, who will be, running operations, but her testimony, would be the same. I'll just call her briefly. Claudia, can you please state your name and spell your last name?
Yes, Claudia Esparza, Esparza.
You will be, running the operations at the facility.
Yes,
You also provided an affidavit kindly to us.
yes,
We testify further, we can testify in accordance with that affidavit.
yes.
Okay. Call our architect, Danny Alexi. You please state your name.
Danny Alexa.
Alexa, you're a licensed architect, you're familiar with the property, the surrounding neighborhood, the use, the application in this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
You provided an affidavit for us, and if you call to testify further, would you testify in accordance with that affidavit?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll call our expert appraiser witness, Terry O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien, can you please state your name?
Terrence O'Brien, O'Brien.
And you have offices at?
2574 Fairford and Northbrook.
Okay, you analyzed the property, you prepared a report, you submitted that report to us and to the board, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
What does that report find?
Finds that as far as the application goes, it meets all the criteria for the special use as well as for the two variations.
And if you were called to testify further today, would you testify in accordance with that report?
Yes, I would.
We stand ready to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next case, 15324S, 2125 West Irving Park Road.
2125 West Irving Park Road.
Morning, while everyone's getting situated, I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 15324S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed nail salon. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. And Counselor Manning, you can proceed with the short form.
Manuel's gonna take this meeting.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Great to meet you guys. I'm really jazzed about this, so thank you.
Excellent. Well, let's see your best short form.
Absolutely, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, and good morning, members of the board. And for the record, my name is Emmanuel Bayar with the law firm Shane Banks, preparing for Pick Your Color Nails LLC, the applicant for the special use to establish a nail salon. Joining me today is Henry Tran, one of the applicant's representatives, and Joe Ryan, an MAI appraiser. The subject property is located at 2125 West Irving Park Road. The subject property is legally improved with a two-story mixed-use commercial residential building on a 7,375 square foot lot. Subject property sits within a B11 district. The applicant's proposed use seeks to activate 972 square feet of commercial space that has been vacant for nearly a year. In terms of services, the applicant intends to offer manicures and regular and gel polish, pedicures and regular gel polish, and dipping nail powders and gel X manicures. The applicant intends to create 3 to 4 new jobs within about a year to scale to 10 to 15 employees once the salon customer base expands. The business will be open 6 days a week with operating hours Monday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Wednesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The applicant will utilize the existing commercial space with a small interior build-out to establish the proposed use. The only exterior work contemplated will be additional signage just to effectuate their logo. The only thing that brings this applicant and this business before the zoning board of appeals today is its proximity to other personal services. The applicant's proposed use is compatible though with the character of the neighborhood because Irving Park Road is an established commercial street. The other personal services in the area have not had an adverse effect on the character of the neighborhood or the general welfare of the community. The proposed use offers different services than other personal services around. It's the only nail salon. The proposed location is also in close proximity to the CTA Brown Line and 4 CTA bus lines, and it will encourage its clients to walk, bike, and use public transportation, thereby promoting pedestrian safety and comfort. Lastly, the applicant has reached out to the Alderman's office and is unaware of any opposition to the proposed use. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to call our first witness, the applicant representative, Mr. Tran.
Please do.
Mr. Tran, you are one of the members of and managers of the applicant, correct?
Yes, correct.
Can you please say your business address?
2125 West Irving Park Road.
Is it true that you have extensive experience within the nail industry? Could you just highlight some of that experience for the board?
Yes, I am a licensed nail technician since 2017, and I have been working for like at least 3 nail salons before.
Thank you. And you submitted an affidavit, you submitted an affidavit. Are the statements in that affidavit true and correct?
Correct.
And if you were continue to testify, would your testimony remain consistent with both your affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions for the board at this time, I'm ready to call Joe Ryan, our second witness. Go ahead. Mr. Ryan, Mr. Ryan, you are a licensed appraiser prepared the expert report submitted with the special use application.
I am.
And your professional opinion, the applicant proposed special use meets all the approval criteria under the Chicago zoning ordinance.
Does.
Did you submit an affidavit to the board prior to today's hearing?
I did.
Are the statements made in that affidavit true and correct?
Yes.
If you were continuing to testify today, would your testimony remain consistent with the contents of your affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that will conclude our case in chief. Unless there's any questions, we would love it. You have for us, that's all for us.
As much as I want to grill you right now. Maiden voyage. Are there any questions from the board? We'll take it under advisement. Good work. Thank you very much.
Next case, 15424 2744 West 18th Street.
You're doing great.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read the department's recommendation for counter number 15424S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed business live-work space within Unit 1F on the first floor of an existing 4-story mixed-use building with 2 existing parking spaces provided the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 17, 2024, prepared by PMPC Architects. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
I do.
Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning again. My name, for the record, one more time, is Emmanuel Bayar with the law firm Shane Banks, representing Pilsen Rentals LLC, Series 21, the applicant for the special use. Joining me today is Paul Tzidikis, the property owner, Joe Ryan, an MMA appraiser, and John Pimentel, the project's architect. The subject property is located at 2744 West 18th Street and is legally improved with a 4-story mixed-use building with 7 dwelling units and vacant ground floor commercial. The lot is 25 feet wide with a depth of 135 feet for a total land area of 3,375 square feet. The applicant is seeking a special use to allow the conversion of the ground floor commercial space to establish a business live-work unit. The subject property has had a ground floor residential unit since at least 1927, and therefore is essentially seeking an expansion of the existing special use. The proposed use aligns with the current zoning district of B12 through its combination of commercial and residential use, the key feature of a B12 zoning district. The commercial space is already filled with all the necessary infrastructure and utilities to effectuate the residential use. Granting the requested special use will not adversely impact the general welfare and is compatible with the character of the neighborhood, both in terms of use and in terms of site planning and building scale. Because the ground floor residential is already present on the block, conversion of the commercial space will remove a long-term vacancy, which is a known blight, and will provide the public with updated housing options while also allowing small retail businesses an opportunity to establish their business closer to their clientele. Lastly, the applicant shared this plan with the local Chamber of Commerce and Alderwoman Scott, neither opposed this request. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would like to call our first witness, Mr. Tzidikis.
Please do.
Mr. Tzidikis, you are one of the owners of the applicant, correct?
Correct.
And would you please state your business address?
1205 West Adams, Chicago.
And you heard my opening statement, the summary of the special use application. Do you concur with my summary of this matter?
Yes.
Did you submit an affidavit to the ZBA prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Are the statements made in that affidavit true and correct?
Yes.
If you were continuing to testify, would your testimony remain consistent with the contents of that affidavit?
Yes, it would.
Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions for the board at this time, I would like to call our second witness, Joe Ryan.
Continue.
Mr. Ryan, you are a licensed appraiser who prepared an expert report submitted with the special use application.
Yes.
In your professional opinion, the applicant's proposed special use meets all the approval criteria under the Chicago zoning ordinance.
Correct.
Did you also submit an affidavit to the board prior to today's hearing?
I did.
Are those statements made in the affidavit also true and correct?
Yes.
If you were to continue testifying today, would your testimony remain consistent with the contents of your affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would like to call our third witness, John Pimentel, the project architect.
Go ahead.
Mr. Pimentel, you are the project architect who prepared plans subject to this application.
Correct.
And the business living unit will have a total area of 878 square feet, with the work portion being approximately 443.4 square feet, thereby complying with the business live work unit special use approval criteria.
Correct.
Did you submit an affidavit prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Are the statements made in that affidavit also true and correct?
Correct.
Do you adopt as your testimony here today the statements contained within your affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that will conclude our case in chief. You're welcome for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? We will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Right there.
Next case, 15624Z, 4300 North Kimball. Oh, yeah, 155 and 156, sorry.
Right, will everyone who's planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Morning again. For the record, my name is Emmanuel Byron with the law firm Shane Banks, appearing for AMP Ventures Kimball LLC, the applicant for for two variations today. Joining me are Arjav Patel, one of the property owners, and Jaime Gascon, the project's architect. The subject property is improved with a 3-story mixed-use commercial building containing 5 dwelling units and a vacant ground floor commercial space with 3 parking spaces. The subject property has a total lot area of 4,001 square feet. The applicant seeks to establish the existing 5th dwelling unit and convert the vacant commercial space into a residential unit via the ADU program. To facilitate this project, the applicant requires 2 variations. 1, to make a zoning certification of the total density not to exceed more than 1 above its original construction, and 2, to reduce the minimum required rear yard open space from 1,350 square feet to 560 square feet. These variations are consistent with the character of the block, as the variation preserves the existing characteristics of the building, and it brings the property more in line with the residential nature of the block and neighborhood. The applicant is simply seeking to bring the existing building into code-compliant conditions to enhance the livability for residents, increase housing options in the area, and reactivating a long-term vacancy. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would like to call our witnesses, the applicant's representative, Arjav Patel. Go ahead. Mr. Patel, you are a member and manager of the applicant, correct?
Yes.
And you heard my opening statement and summary of this variation application. Do you concur with my summary of this matter?
Yes.
Did you review the affidavit that Mayur Patel, your co-member, submitted to the ZBA today?
Yes.
And are the statements contained in that affidavit true and correct?
Yes.
Do you adopt as your testimony here today those statements contained within that affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, unless there's any more questions, I'd like to call our second witness, John Pimentel. Go ahead. Mr. Gascon, are you the project architect who prepared the plans subject to this application?
I am.
And the subject property has unique circumstances which it suffers that are not shared by similarly situated properties, correct?
Correct.
Did you submit an affidavit to the board prior to today's hearing?
Yes,
Are the statements made in that affidavit also true and correct?
they are.
Do you also adopt your testimony here today to the statements contained within your affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that will conclude my case in chief. We will welcome any questions.
Any questions from the board? Take this matter under advisement. Thank you. That's your time. All right.
Case
Good work.
724S, 2411 North Lincoln.
So EY,
EY.
AR, M like Mary,
That's right.
FIR, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, while everyone is getting situated, I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 15724S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed financial service use Wells Fargo Bank on the ground floor of an existing 5-story mixed-use building on a pedestrian street within 600 feet of another bank, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Wells Fargo Bank N.A. 2, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 19, 2024, prepared by Dwell Studio Architects. And 3, prior to the issuance of any permits, the updated floor plans with increased active spaces along Halsted Street facade are submitted to DPD to ensure compliance with pedestrian street requirements, section 17-3-0500.
Chairman, just a point of information, I think there's a typo in the application, should be forced to the architect or instead of 12.
Okay, we will, yes, let the record reflect that the architect in the letter itself is not correct, and will amend to the architect that you just named on the record. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Liz Butler. I'm an attorney in the law firm of Taps, Lucanius and Hollister, located at 111 East Wacker Drive in Chicago. And I represent the applicant in this matter, Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. I'm joined today by representatives of the applicant and the project team, including Chad Hayes, the lead construction manager for Wells Fargo, Jim Lawley, the director of architecture for Four States Group, the project architect, and Jason Jarrett with Open Kissel Associates, or who's expert.
And the board recognizes Mr. Jarrett's expertise.
So I'll provide a quick overview of the proposal and then introduce the witnesses to get their testimony. Wells Fargo is in the process of expanding its branch network in the Chicago area. It opened its first branch in city limits in January in the River North neighborhood. A Wicker Park location just received its building permits, and this Lincoln Park location that is the subject of this special use request is among several other branch locations that Wells Fargo has planned. The applicant is required to seek this special use approval to establish a bank on the ground floor of this existing 5-story mixed-use building at 2411 North Lincoln Avenue, because the property is on a pedestrian retail street and is within close proximity to another existing bank, within 600 feet of the property. The site contains 16,780 square feet of site area. It's improved with this existing 5-story mixed-use building that was constructed in 2022. And the bank will occupy the currently vacant ground floor tenant space, which contains approximately 3,772 square feet of floor area within the tenant space. The bank will have 3 entrances, one along Lincoln, one along Halsted, and one at the corner of Lincoln and Halsted. The 24-hour vestibule is located on the west side of the tenant space. That's accessible from the entrance at the corner of Lincoln and Halsted. The project team worked closely with DPD on their review of the requested special use to ensure that the bank creates active spaces along both Lincoln and Halsted. The bank will be staffed by 5 to 8 employees. The hours of operation for the bank are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 1 p.m. on Saturdays, closed on Sundays. And as set forth in great detail in the proposed findings of fact, the bank is compatible in terms of the building and site design of structures in the surrounding area, and is compatible in terms of operational characteristics, hours of operation, and the levels of activity in the area. The applicant met with Alderman Knudsen, who provided a letter of support, which we filed with the board in its hearing. We also received a letter of support from the Brightwood Neighbors Association, and we are not aware of any to this request. So with that, I'll turn to Mrs. Mr. Hayes, could you please state your full name and title and business address for the record?
Chad Hayes, construction manager for Wells Fargo Bank N.A. The business address is 1525 West W.T. Harris Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina. 28252.
And in your role, you're deeply involved with the planning for each of the new branches, and so you're familiar with the plans, design, and the proposed operation for the proposed bank, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're aware that as counsel for Wells Fargo, Taft submitted the proposed findings of fact for this application, which included an affidavit that set forth your testimony signed by you in connection with this matter, right?
Correct.
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the proposed findings of fact and your affidavit?
Yes.
Thank you, Chad. And if there are no questions, I'll go ahead to the next witness. Mr. Lawley, could you please state your full name or title and your business address for the record?
James Lawley, Director of Architecture for our financial clients at Core State Group. My office is located at 46 East Main Street in Somerville, New Jersey.
And given your role with Four States, the project architect, you have specific knowledge regarding the property, the floor plans, the site plans, all of the architectural plans for the proposed bank, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that as counsel for Wells Fargo, TAP submitted the proposed findings of fact for this application, which included an affidavit setting forth your testimony and signed by you in connection with this application.
Yes.
And if you were to continue to testify, your testimony today would be consistent with that affidavit? And
Yes.
findings of fact.
Yes.
I have no questions for our project architects, and I'll go ahead to Mr. Jared, if you could please state your name, address. type of record.
My name is Jason Jarrett, Jarrett. I'm a certified planner with Oker Kissel Associates with offices at 141 West Jackson here in Chicago.
And you were retained by the applicant to conduct an urban planning analysis of this proposed special use to establish a bank at the property, correct?
Yes,
And you prepared a report detailing your analysis and your findings. And you're aware that TAP submitted that report with the proposed findings of fact, right?
yes, that is correct.
And if you were to testify today, your testimony would be consistent with the findings in your report, is that right?
It would.
Thank you. I have no further questions for the witnesses. There's something that board can roll in the findings of fact, and but we're available to answer any questions that the board may have.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next case, 824S, 3162 North Clybourne Avenue.
Yeah. Right, this is the recommendation for calendar number 15824S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed financial services facility, Wells Fargo Bank, in a new single-story building with a remote drive-through ATM separate from the main bank building, provided the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Wells Fargo Bank NA, and the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated April 18, 2024, prepared by Core States Group. Would everyone please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes,
I do. Thank you very much, and the board recognizes Mr. Jarrett's expertise. Counselor Butler, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Again, my name is Liz Butler. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Taft, Timmins and Hollister, located at 111 East Wacker Drive in Chicago. And I represent the applicant in this matter, Wells Fargo Bank NA. I'm joined today by representatives of the applicant and the project team. Chad Hayes, the construction manager for Wells Fargo, James Lawley, the director of architecture for Core States Group, the project architect for the matter, David Perry, also with Core States, who is the civil engineer for the project, and Jason Jarrett with Oker Kissel Associates, who is the land use expert witness for this special use request. So I'll proceed with the short.
Yes.
Provide a brief overview of the proposal and then introduce each of the witnesses, have them affirm their testimony for the record. So as I mentioned in our earlier presentation, Wells Fargo is in the process of expanding its branch network in Chicago, and having just opened its first branch within the city limits in January in the River North neighborhood, a Wicker Park location, Lincoln Park location, and Roscoe Village location are planned. This special use request relates to the Roscoe Village location at 3162 North Clybourne Avenue. The applicant is seeking the special use approval in connection with the drive up automatic teller machine, which is proposed to be located in parking lot of the subject property. The proposed development includes a single-story bank building at the irregularly shaped property, which contains 29,764 square feet of site area. The proposed building will contain 3,369 square feet of site area, accessory parking lot, and a single lane drive-up ATM with a bypass lane. The drive-up ATM, as you can see on the site plan, is located at the south end of the site. And in order to promote traffic and pedestrian safety and comfort, the plan contemplates a number of enhancements to the site, including reducing the number of driveways from what exists today, 4 driveways, down to a single driveway off of Clybourne. The addition of bicycle parking on site and a number of other pedestrian improvements, including the addition of 16 new trees, expanding the width of the sidewalk on Clybourne, and the inclusion of interior pedestrian paths to navigate the site from both Western and Clybourne. The property is subject to a no further remediation letter from the Illinois EPA. It previously operated as a gas station. Wells Fargo will undertake all of the environmental remediation needed to operate the city for this purpose. The proposed building is sited to the north end of the property to front the street. There will be a walk-up ATM, an after-hours space available for customers only. The interior of the building includes a lounge, an attractive lobby, the main teller stations, restrooms, employee facilities. The building also, important to note that it is designed to treat all 4 elevations as primary facades. All 4 elevations have enhanced building materials and transparency. Customers access the bank from any one of 3 building entrances on each of the 3 sides of the building, on Western, Clybourne, and the south end of the building. The bank will be staffed similar to the Lincoln Park location with 5 to 8 full-time employees. Hours of operation similarly are 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturdays, closed on Sundays. The applicant met with the Roscoe Village Neighbors Association, who issued a letter of support for the project. The Lakeview Roscoe Village Chamber of Commerce also met with us and issued a letter of support for the project. We discussed the project extensively with Alderman Wagstaff, who is seeking a neutral position on the matter. We also discussed the project with the staff of the 47th Ward. This is located in 32nd Ward, that is right on border 47th. So the 47th Ward is also not taking a decision. Except with respect to the matters, except for the special use, the project complies with all applicable standards of the zoning ordinance. No variations are requested. With that, just my witnesses. Mr. Hayes, could you please state your name, title, and business address for the record?
Chad Hayes, construction manager for Wells Fargo Bank NA. The address is 1525 West W.T. Harris Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28262.
And given your role as the construction manager for Wells Fargo, you're very familiar with the subject property, the plans for the site, the design, and the proposed operations for those bank. Is that right?
Correct.
And you're aware that as counsel for Wells Fargo, Taft submitted the proposed findings of fact for this application, which included an affidavit setting forth your testimony and signed by you in connection with this matter. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And if you were to continue to testify today, your testimony would be consistent with the proposed findings of fact in your affidavit?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lawley, could you please state your full name, title, and business address for the record?
Yes, James Lally, Director of Architecture for our financial clients at Core States Group. Address is 46 East Main Street, Somerville, New Jersey.
And given your role with Core States, you also have specific knowledge regarding the subject property and the architectural plans for the proposed bank. Is that right?
Correct.
And you also are aware that Taft, as counsel for Wells Fargo, submitted the proposed findings of fact and an affidavit setting forth your testimony and signed by you.
Correct.
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the proposed findings of fact in your affidavit?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Perry, could you please state your full name, title, and business address for the record?
David Perry, Senior Project Manager, 4226 Hay Meadow Drive, Mint Hill, North Carolina.
And you serve as the civil engineer for the project, is that right?
Correct.
And you're testifying on this matter because this is a ground up development, different from the Lincoln Park location, is that right?
Yes,
And you are aware that Taft as counsel for the bank submitted the proposed findings of facts, including an affidavit setting forth your testimony related to the site improvements. Is that right?
yes,
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the proposed findings of facts and your affidavit?
yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness, and I'll move ahead to Mr. Jarrett. Would you please state your name, title, business address for the record?
Yes, my name is Jason Jarrett, I'm a certified planner with Obrecht Kissel Associates, with offices at 141 West Jackson in Chicago.
And you were retained by Wells Fargo to conduct an urban planning analysis of the requested special use for the proposed bank at this location, is that right?
That's correct.
And you prepared a report detailing your analysis, your findings and conclusions, and you're aware that that report was submitted to the board in advance of this hearing with the proposed findings of fact, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And if you were to testify today, would your testimony before the board be consistent with the findings in your report?
It would.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no further questions for these witnesses.
Any questions from the board? Take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last case, 15924Z 2042 West Fletcher. Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of this board. For the record, my name is Warren Silver, Silver Law Office, BC. Office is at 1700 West Irving Park Road, Suite 102 in Chicago, Illinois. And I'm here today on behalf of the applicants, Aaron and Mayrav Benson. And Mayrav is here with me as well as Nathan Bayer, an architect on the project. This is a single family home in an RS3 zoning district. It's a two-story frame home, as you can see, with a basement. It's approximately 100 years old. It's quite small by modern standards, and considering how homes are used today, and in particular, the front entrance vestibule is very cramped, and it's difficult to expand without moving forward because there's a bedroom directly in back of it that's in use as a bedroom. The Bensons reside in their home with their 3 children, and as their children grow, they need more space, but don't want to move to a larger home in the suburbs. Accordingly, they hired Fosterdale Architects to design a first floor addition that would extend the living room into the area where there currently is a large front porch. The front wall of the addition would follow the plane of the existing non-conforming second story front wall and east side wall. So it's similar to there's an administrative adjustment providing for building up, but in this case, we're building down. And so we needed to seek a variation. There would be a small porch and stairs that would provide access to a relocated front entrance. And the result would be similar in a lot of respects to the appearance of the house immediately to the west, which also has a similar front setback. And the front walls of the second story and first story are in the same plane. The difference, though, is that their entrance is at grade, and this one would be raised by that small porch. In order to build the addition, the Bensons are requesting that this board grant a variation to reduce the minimum front setback from the required 12 feet to 5.5 feet, and the east side setback from 2.4 feet to 1.75 feet. With the west side setback remaining at 6 feet, the total combined setback of 7.75 feet would be well more than the 6 feet total required by the zoning ordinance. We submitted proposed findings of fact that substantiate that the standards required for the requested variations have been met. There are affidavits supporting those proposed findings submitted along with it. At this time, I would like to call Mayra Benson as our first witness.
Yeah, well, both of the witnesses, please raise your right hand.
Oh, okay.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much, and you can proceed with the short form.
Okay, very well, thanks. Mayra, please state your full name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Mara Benson and I live at 2042 West Fletcher Street, Chicago, Illinois.
And you are the applicant in this case and the owner of the subject property, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and were the facts that I recited in my introduction all correct?
They are correct.
Okay, and you acquired your home in March of 2009,
Yes.
and since then, you had a family, your kids, 3 kids are growing up, and you're taking up a lot of space.
That is true. When we moved in, we had 0 kids and now there are 3 large and growing kids. Yes.
And that small front vestibule is a particular choke point,
Very much so.
and you can't expand it any other way than this because of the location of your daughter's bedroom directly behind it, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So you engaged Fosterdale Architects to design the addition, and did you have any communications with your neighbors regarding it? to make sure?
Yes, we have great relationships with our neighbors. We have been coordinating and consulting with our neighbors regularly. And in fact, several of the neighbors asked if they can come to show their support as well. So we haven't heard any negative comments from our neighbors.
Okay, so no negative comments.
No.
That's good to know. And in terms of practical difficulties and particular hardships, you're dealing with an older existing home, correct?
That is correct.
As I mentioned, there's no way to fix the front vestibule without building forward, right?
That is correct.
Okay. You're not looking to make more money from this variation because you're planning to stay in this house for the foreseeable future, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You submitted an affidavit that we included along with our proposed findings of fact, correct?
Correct.
And if you were to continue testifying, you would testify to the same things set forth in that affidavit, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. No further questions. Next witness is Nathan Bayer. Please state your name, your address, and your employer for the record.
Nathan Byer, business address Fosterdale Architects, 3717 North Ravenswood, Suite 111, Chicago.
You have a BS in architecture from University of Wisconsin,
Yes,
and you worked under the supervision of Foster Dale, the principal architect at your employer firm
yes,
on this project, right?
correct.
So you're familiar with the details. You were engaged to design a first floor expansion of the existing house that would provide some relief with respect to that front entrance, correct?
Yes,
Okay. You couldn't do this without zoning relief because from a design perspective, you would need to follow the existing non-conforming walls of the second story downward in order to create an aesthetically pleasing home that fit in with the surrounding properties. Is that correct?
correct. Structurally and aesthetically, yes.
Okay. You submitted, we submitted an affidavit from Foster Dale in connection with this project, and I know Foster was otherwise engaged and was not able to attend today, but you've reviewed Foster's affidavit thoroughly, is that correct?
Yes,
And if you were to continue testifying, would you testify here to the same matters that Foster set forth in his affidavit?
yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions at this time. If the board has any further questions, we'd be happy to answer. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, just quickly, probably best answered by the architect. Can you just describe the difference in the distance between the current bottom stair of your front porch to the sidewalk compared to the proposed distance of the bottom stair to the sidewalk? I'm not sure that dimension is called out on the drawing. It might be, but it's hard to read.
Right, that would be, existing is, the existing bottom of the stair is approximately um, couple feet off of the property line. Like. You have zoning? Or the plat survey?
I don't have a plat of survey. I only have an electronic form.
Yeah. It is, so the front, if we go to the demolition plan, which is on A 2.1, we have a front porch. And then we're gonna build a house out to the front porch, and then the steps that go in front of the front porch are at a similar distance out.
Right.
No, they're
I understand you're shifting it all forward. My
Yeah.
question is, how much space will there be from the bottom step to the sidewalk? When this project is completed compared to the distance currently?
got it.
And are there any other projects in the adjacent or surrounding area that similarly approach the sidewalk in that way? I
Right.
couldn't tell from the aerial photograph.
Correct. The current, the existing steps are set back from the front property line
Right.
at about 6 feet.
And how much closer will you bring them?
We will bring them like about 6 feet forward.
So they will almost be to the sidewalk?
Yes, correct.
And are there any other similar porch configurations in the surrounding area that, come close to the sidewalk in that nature?
There is, oh, yes, one that we are not considering, and the one that is excluded, 2044 West Fletcher Street, the one that's adjacent to the alley. That one has a front porch that is very close to the front yard setback. That is at 8.67 to the front porch off of the property line.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, we will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that is our last case for the morning, so I move that we convene into closed session pursuant to section 2C4 of the Open Meetings Act for the purpose of considering the evidence and testimony presented in open session. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, we're in closed session.
Tech support, just to let you know, we're back in session.
Check this out. Hi, Mariam, can you hear us? That's
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. So we're all good? Yeah. Okay. All right, I move that we return to open session. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, and we're back. We will now vote. Note that any motion to approve a special use will be tied to the recommendations of the department and any additional conditions read by me. First, I move to approve all continuance requests to the dates stated by me. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the continuances are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13323S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13024Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13124S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13224S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13324Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13424Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13624Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13724S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13824S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 13924Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 14024Z, 14124Z, and 14224Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 14324S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for counter number 14424S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for counter number 14624Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for counter numbers 14724Z and 14824Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for counter number 14924Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 15024S, 15124Z, and 15224Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 15324S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 15424S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 15524Z and 15624Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 15724S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 15824S. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for counter number 15924Z. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move that we recess until 2 p.m. Commissioner Esposito seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
I vote yes, we are in recess until 2 p.m.